we should probably start talking about Pathfinder Nexus.
Now, when you heard Pathfinder Nexus,
Yeah.
was the first thing you thought of StarCraft?
No.
Okay.
When I first saw it, I assumed
Nexus.
I assumed it was some sort of like virtual tabletop, which it does seem to be like, well, they
Tries to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. It's D&D Beyond.
Yes. So it's Pathfinder's response to D&D Beyond.
Right. Well, response is a bit of because it's like 5 years too late, right? Like D&D.
Delayed response.
Yeah. D&D. Well, I think look, let's call it what it is. This is a money play.
I think you gotta play.
I guess it's a money play, and also, I mean, okay, well, let's start off from the basics. Like, what is Pathfinder Nexus?
So Pathfinder Nexus is basically what D&D Beyond did. It's going to be a campaign organizer,
okay,
which I don't think D&D Beyond does at all, or if not very well. And then it's going to be a character builder and storage, which is what it does well. But what the other thing it's going to have is basically a camera system or a video call system. So not only is it going to have you organize your campaign, but then it will also be able to join up a party. We're all going to talk like we do on Discord anyway.
So it's basically like a virtual tabletop light. It's not going to have, it's basically going to be like if you've been running your game in like a Discord or like a Zoom call.
Yes.
It kind of takes that role.
Yes. So it's trying to be an all-in-one.
Right.
The people I think want to be a VTT because why not? Why am I going to be doing on Foundry and doing this anyway?
Yeah.
I think what it's trying to
VTT is a lot of work.
It is.
Yeah. And
I get it that they're not going to go that route, at least right now.
No, I don't think they will.
Yeah.
And I don't think they should. I guess, but the real proof in the pudding is they're selling you digital rule books.
Yes.
Right. So Pathfinder Nexus is a joint venture between Paizo and a company called Demiplane.
Yep.
And as far as I know, Demiplane isn't doing anything else.
Not that I'm aware of. I just sign up for it.
Yeah, this is I have not. But this is like some software development company. Yep. They're going to be producing this, and you are going to be able to buy Pathfinder books through Pathfinder Nexus.
Yep.
Digital.
Yes.
$29.95.
Yes.
$30.
That's where the rub is. Because I was just talking to some of the people on the Discord.
Yeah.
And if you're at home and you're listening and you want to get in these crazy talks on our Discord, join the Patreon. Sure. It gets you access to the Discord. We're having some crazy conversation there, but this did just come up the other day because my thought when I was talking to, I believe his name was Vlax, was that, yeah, but if you buy the book on Nexus, you get the PDF as well.
Which I saw. I
was like, oh, okay, cool.
I think that way is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, but it's $30.
I know.
And he said versus $15.
Which is the PDF.
And he's like, why am I spending book price for this? And now here's what you're getting. Yeah. You're getting the digital tool set, which is basically Archives of Nethys Lite. So you get the rule book, but then there's like hyperlinks. Yeah. And then you click on those and they bring you to other pages.
It's basically a very, very snazzy, very nice PDF.
It is. I actually looked at the demos.
Yeah.
And if you're a new GM, having it all in one place, probably not a bad thing.
The problem, for starters, a couple of things. There's a big difference between Pathfinder 2nd Edition and D&D 5th Edition. And that is D&D 5th Edition, while ostensibly released under the SRD, right? So ostensibly it's open source, which is why people can really release all this D&D 5th Edition content. But it's not all there. And I know this because if you look up the D&D 5th Edition rule set online, you'll find the rule set. You'll find the fighter.
You'll find the basic rule set.
But you won't find all of it.
Because I've been I have characters on D&D Beyond. Yeah. I've played.
Yeah.
And then there's like, oh, this character you can't find unless you bought this book.
It's like a microtransaction, right? It's like, oh, you want to be able to play this subclass of fighter, or you want this magical item that's from this book. You can't add it to your character.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, D&D does not do a discount though. If you bought the hard book, now I know the Icefire Peak campaign, because I bought this, they give you a free digital version. Sure. And sometimes they do that. But Paizo is saying that if you bought a hardcover copy, you'd get a discount on the digital.
Only if you bought the hardcover copy through Paizo.com.
Yes.
Because they need to have
Because they have to sync your accounts. Well, yeah, you're not going to your game shop and do this. Correct.
But, so number one, that's just a shitting on game stores, local game stores.
Yes.
I mean, already you're paying full retail from Paizo, and then you're paying full retail from your game store.
Yep.
But so why wouldn't, if you're going to pay full retail, why wouldn't you get it from your game store?
Yeah, support them.
Okay, so why isn't this a code?
Yes.
That's in the book. Because if I could buy a hardcover back, which by the way is a higher price point for them, right? I mean, you're paying $50 or $60 for the book if you're buying
brand new, yeah.
Right. By brand new. If I buy the book, it has a one-time redemption code that I can use to get access to the Pathfinder Nexus digital tools.
They like seal all their books, like wrapping.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
So I had Barnes and Noble, like,
I mean, a lot of things. Yeah, some things are like that, right? I mean,
well, the one that the Icefire Peak, it was the box came in the box and it was inside a piece of pamphlet.
Right. So the difference here, though, is in D&D you don't get access to everything, and when they release a new book, it definitely does not go online. You just
absolutely not.
Right. You just get the core stuff. So anything that's in Xanathar's Guide or whatever you don't get. Paizo is different. Everything is free.
Yeah, Archives of Nethys is sweet, and they have no.
And it's not just Archives of Nethys. I mean, like the Pathfinder SRD page, any of those other applications, the third-party applications like Path Builder or any of those other websites, Wanderer's Guide, it's the full gamut.
Yeah, it's like if you
everything that you needed to play.
If you were poor, jump into Pathfinder.
Yeah, you literally don't have to buy a thing.
Yes,
you do.
I
not
mean,
have
Archives is legit, and again, they have no need to take over that.
Right.
But if I'm seeing hyperlinked PDFs, I don't know why why you wouldn't capitalize on that market.
Right. So
you grab all of it.
So let's look at this. If you want the hardcover back book, you buy the hardcover back book. If you want the digital copy, you can buy a $15 PDF.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you want online copies and free, it's all there, available within days of the book's release. So who's this for? So if I could buy a $15 PDF, I could buy a $60 or $50 real hard book, or I could go online for free. Why would I pay $30 for a digital tool set that I can only use through one platform, the Pathfinder Nexus platform, through this one provider of Demiplane? I could buy the PDF. Paizo could go out of business
and run it.
And 10 years from now, I could open up that PDF and play it. So
I think it's for the new GM.
Why? How does that help them?
Having it all there.
What?
All in your mobile app.
Isn't that what Archives of Nethys is?
But it's going to have character builder. It's going to have the campaign room. So now I can get all this together. That's what it's trying to do. It's like, I'm a new GM and I got 5 people that I met online and we're going to play. And you're going to meet on my game site. And we got all my campaign notes and we can talk right here and I can see all your character sheets.
Yeah.
And I don't really have to worry too much.
I mean, I think this is 2 things. I think it is, number one, I think it's Paizo saying, this is what's sick about it. I think it's Paizo saying, hey, D&D Beyond is getting people to buy their books again and again and again through the D&D Beyond app. Why wouldn't we do the same?
I agree.
And secondly, this is the part that's worse. I'm betting that there is a number of people who are like, oh, I don't care about the cost. I won't play the game unless I have this complete all-in-one package. I don't care that I have to spend a bunch of money again to do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
We saw that in the Discord where some of the patrons were talking about how there are people that they know have tried to recruit people from 5th edition D&D, but they're not interested in playing Pathfinder because there's no D&D Beyond equivalent. They don't mind. They don't care if they have to spend more money,
Well, you've seen it at the game stores when they're all on their apps rolling dice. They're not even rolling physical dice in person.
I know.
Now that's where I joked about in the Discord. If it starts, now they're saying there's going to have digital dice, which is fine. But like they should, they're going to. But
I mean, they're going to. They're going.
It's like the skins for the dice,
microtransaction skins for your character sheet.
That's just such a money.
$3.95 will get you a fancy frame for your online digital character sheet.
And I know D&D Beyond does it, and people pay for it, but I just can't. I just can't.
And I mean, if your
Foundry's got sweet dice for already built in.
Well, Foundry is amazing, so I don't. And again, Foundry, the Pathfinder 2 system engine, every single thing that is in Pathfinder 2, because it's released for article, you get through Foundry. You pay the one-time fee.
Yep.
And then only one person needs to buy it.
Yep.
And then everybody has access to everything ever.
And I played with you on the Foundry, and I was like this, because I did roll 20.
Yeah.
Foundry was like,
right.
Like blow out of the water.
So this is, I can't.
And this isn't even roll 20 because the only thing you're getting is the campaign setting now.
Right. You're not getting any of the token functionality.
Now, do you think that it's going to just.
Well, I think it's strongly incensed, by the way, Paizo, to eliminate those free options.
You talking about?
I think why would I release a book to the SRD, to Archives of Nethys, to Foundry, to Path Builder, to wait?
You gotta pay. You gotta pay now
when you can go
pay
get
to
it
play
for $30.
Maybe. I'm wondering also, I think it's going to take the place of Hero Lab, Path Builder. Those will be out. This will be in.
Right. Why would anyone go to Path Builder when you could just go to this instead?
Now, the con, I think, and I know that I know your answer already, but I would like you to explain it to the people at home then, is does this make it even more of a crutch now? This is what D&D Beyond did.
Absolutely.
When I first learned D&D Beyond.
Yeah, and we've talked
I was like, I'm just going to update my character. Level 2, click button, and done.
Right. And a lot of people would tell you
I don't even know how my character leveled up.
Right. A lot
of my HP.
Right. A lot of people would tell you that's even better in Pathfinder 2 because every time you level, literally, right, everything with proficiency is tied to level. So almost everything you have changes.
Yep.
Your saves, your skills, your attacks, your armor class, everything changes because, erasing something and putting up by +1. And so now it's just click a button, drag a feat.
Which I like the efficiency of that. I like the look of D&D Beyond and what this is going to look like. Oh, I like the look of it. I like the cleanness of it. The problem I have with it is you don't know how your character works.
I think
that's where I think it hurts.
And I think it encourages two things. I think number one, it encourages players to not really understand the game and understand the game's mechanics. And the second thing is I think it makes players feel very detached from what a class or a feat or an ancestry actually is.
Yeah.
Like for them, it's just another item in a drop-down list. They don't really think about the fact that they're choosing, they chose their deity. They just chose it from a list, but they don't realize that deity is actually from, some really crazy region of Golarion that has absolutely nothing to do with their, current type of campaign. Or they're choosing a feat just because it's like on the list, not really realizing it's tied to some specific area of Golarion, like an Aldori duelist. You're like, oh, that looks cool because of the features. I'm not going to, because you're not reading the background. You're not reading that section in the book. You're not seeing the art. You're not digging into like the thematic elements of it or the narrative elements of it. You're just looking at the mechanics. You're just reading the feat and dragging it onto your character sheet.
So in that respect, it's a negative, but I still think here's where I think it could be a positive. One-shots. I think I'm going to roll. Hey, Derek, come over to my house Thursday. We're going to do something because we're all free. Roll up a character in 5 seconds.
Number one, I guess I just don't understand the value of one-shots. And
I know, you now like them, but I love them.
But also, too, like, why? What is so is this a one-shot with people who already know Pathfinder 2? What is the point of playing a one-shot of Pathfinder 2? It's a complex game with a lot of... In fact, the reason you pick...
Let you play 16th level because your campaign never gets there?
The reason you play Pathfinder 2 is because you want a complex game.
I get it.
So I feel like this is just a move to try to make it easier for 5th edition players to come into the game.
Good, because I'll take them.
Yeah, I mean, sure. And why wouldn't they? It's good for the game. It's good for Paizo. Props to this Demiplane for scoring the... Yeah,
I'm like, where did this come from? Swooped in.
And hopefully, and again, if you bought the book through Paizo,
yes,
you get it for $20 instead of $30 to buy it again.
Yeah, a lot of people that we were listening to, obviously they and even us. I mean, George just got a shipment in the mail of books. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I'm pretty invested in the books, and even if you're invested in the PDFs, if you're already invested, I don't know what you're doing unless you got buku money.
I'm going to say this: I would rather have. I don't usually buy PDFs either.
Yeah,
I don't like PDFs, but I would rather have a PDF because I can access that anytime I want.
Yeah.
Because there is something that they said, which is that the character elements, you have to have internet connection in order to connect to that stuff.
Yes.
So I can't go play in a cabin in the woods if I'm using this.
Correct. You need to be able to hyperlink into the things.
Into the cloud or whatever like that. Mm-hmm. So this is very much a modern tool.
Yeah,
for a modern gamer.
I think it has its pros and cons. I think the pros are
well. The con is you're paying $30 for something that's free.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm Paizo, because if I'm thinking like business mind, I'm taking over Path Builder and Hero Lab. The next step is archives.
Well, I mean, if you're Paizo, right, you probably hope. I mean, given the choice, wouldn't you rather no one ever buy a physical book from you ever again? Why would I want to sell someone a $60 physical book? Think of all the pain in the butt, shipping costs, manufacturing costs, production costs, just the sheer working with a printer. Why would I want anyone to ever buy a book from me ever again when they can just buy a digital copy for $30?
Now, I wonder also if that digital copy, let's say they need to have an edit, could they quickly edit that?
Oh, you mean like a RATA?
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably one of the biggest advantages. They don't really,
you could really do that. That's pretty nice.
but I think they won't.
Yeah.
Because, well, 4th edition D&D did that. They were like, hey, you know what? We're going to treat this game like a video game where if something's broken, we're going to fix it and we're going to issue a RATA. And they did a lot to try to keep the game balanced. And people hated it because they're like, well, my physical books are useless. And this is a role-playing game, not a video game.
Well, that was my point. If you were going, get rid of the physical books. I just want all these people to join into Pathfinder Nexus and buy these digital things. And that's why we're going to keep running. Yeah, I'm going to take over archives.
Sure, it has all the advantages that a digital copy has. But the other thing that I cannot stress enough is who the hell is Demiplane? And will they be in business in 5 years? I can pick up my Pathfinder 1 core rulebook, okay, which was released in 2008 and has duct tape on it because it's completely fallen apart. And I can play a Pathfinder 1 campaign. We just did that recently.
We did.
We just played a Pathfinder 1 campaign. How much do you want to bet that, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you think this Pathfinder Nexus is still going to be in business? No.
Well, I don't know. It'll be whatever's next.
No, but it won't. But I'm saying all the things that you bought into this book that money will just be wasted. It'll be gone. You won't have anything to show for it.
Yeah, that's why I like the books.
The books, no one can take them from me.
And I like them
on
the shelf.
I can go. Yeah, they look good on a shelf, but I can pull my 2nd edition AD&D Player's Handbook off the game. Released in 1989. I can pull my 3rd edition D&D book released in 2000, and I can play it. But the more these games become reliant on digital tools,
which is what happened with 4th edition, right? You couldn't find it.
Yeah, well, because of all the errata, everyone was using D&D Insider, which was sort of like a precursor to D&D Beyond. And when 4th edition died and they closed D&D Insider, it became very difficult to play 4th edition, and so it's very hard to play.
Yeah.
And I like Matt Colville is running a 4th edition campaign on his stream right now, and he talks about how he might be the only person who's able to do this because he uses Fantasy Grounds, and like before they closed down the server, he like downloaded everything.
Oh, that's great.
So that he had it in perpetuity, but like no one else has that, and he doesn't even think anyone else can use it. So is that going to be Pathfinder 2?
That's my worry.
You're going to buy all these books on Pathfinder Nexus, and then 5 years from now, 6 years from now, Pathfinder 3rd edition comes out. Demiplane goes out of business because it's a small little digital tools company. And then you're stuck with nothing.
Yeah.
I just, ugh. Now, here's the thing. If it was like, hey, Derek, you bought this hardcover book. Here's a code. You get the free thing. That'd be awesome.
I'd be all over that.
Yeah, I'd be all over that.
Well, I can easily see myself.
But then that doesn't make them any money.
Well, you got to make money because how are you running this thing? You're not running it for free.
No, of course not.
But like I can see my brother coming in from the army and it's like, all right, hey, Saturday, Rory, Danny, we're all just playing a game. I need you to just make a character real quick on the Nexus and we're going to jump online or I could see that being a thing.
I do not dispute that it makes it easier.
Yes.
But I don't know that easier
is better.
I
agree.
And that I think is my main takeaway.
Okay.
And
I'll be signed up, so I'll be finding out what's going on.
I'll also say that it is definitely a money play and I don't begrudge them that.
Oh, I don't. You're a company, you got to make money or you're out of business. And then we don't have new Pathfinder stuff.
And I guess my last thought would be the only way I begrudge them is if this in some way impacts their future releases to all the free outlets. So in other words, if they end up shutting down archives of Nethys or don't let the system releases go to the SRD, so that way Path Builder and Foundry cannot get those access to those same resources, then I would be very disappointed.
That will be interesting when time will tell.
Businesses aren't in the habit of giving away their intellectual property for free. Paizo's been doing it since Pathfinder 2nd edition came out. So
it's awesome.
Of course it's awesome.
Yeah. And I keep buying their books. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to keep doing that.
But maybe they only did that as a way to get people invested into the game. And maybe now they feel like they have enough people that are invested in the game that now they need to start figuring out a way to monetize that more.
Maybe. I think you're closer to I'm just going to try to grab those 5e people. Like, hey, we got a better game than 5e, and we'll take you over.
Well,
hey, 6e's coming out. You're afraid. Come on over.
I don't know what the percentage is, but there is some ungodly percentage of people who've never played D&D with a character sheet.
Yeah.
They've only ever played with a digital tool set through D&D Beyond with click, drag, and drop feats and not a PDF.
And they don't even own dice.
Okay, they don't even own dice. Okay, maybe they play virtually. Maybe they've never played in person. But even at the table, they're playing with a tablet or a computer. And when you say, here's this game, and they go, I am interested in that, and suddenly you're throwing hardcover books and pencils and erasers and pieces of paper and physical dice, and they say, oh, never mind.
Yeah. I can see it.
To quote Back to the Future, where he pulls out the gun and Back to the Future Part 2, and he pulls out the gun and they go, you had to use your hands? That's like a baby's game, right? So these are players who go, I've never interacted with this game in a physical way.
Well, so to that point, I'm okay with that.
I won't switch to Pathfinder 2 because it doesn't have this complete digital experience. And I think the digital experience is horrible. But for those players, if they won't come, well, that's money not in Paizo's book, and Paizo needs money. So,
like I said, I'll take them. I think they'll be kind of fun to have more people in the Pathfinder community. So,
yes,
unless they're all like, I don't know, rolling dice on the thing without in person bothers me. If you're at home, I get it, but like, I don't know.
I mean, it's loud. It's you need space. It can be difficult to read, right? Again, it's just like, how far do we go? Does the app just, let me suggest a move for you. Maybe you should use this feat. Maybe you should take this skill. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm being like a bit of a Luddite here, but it's just, I just, that's a direction of the game for me that I think is dangerous. And I think it also is not without its downsides. The biggest one is you are not buying a digital copy of these rules, right? You are buying a license to use the rules on their platform.
Correct.
And so you are subject to the terms and agreements through that platform. And if they close that,
you're out of luck.
They are under no obligation to make you good.
Yeah, I agree.
That is my biggest concern.
Well, that is basically Pathfinder Nexus in a nutshell then.
It is. So we'll have to see what happens, and hopefully it turns out to be a net positive for the game.
So that's Pathfinder Nexus in a nutshell then, right?
Yep. I think we've covered probably the promises and the pitfalls, and I think it's I'm certainly going to, take a look and see what they come up with, and, see if they really do make it a new, add something new to the experience.
Yeah. It's still in its infancy right now.
Yeah. And I do have my concerns. And of course, right now, no one is forcing you to use. You can still buy PDFs. You can still buy hardcover books. You can still use archives.
Yeah, it's just an additive thing right now, which is great.
It's only additive, so how can that be a bad thing? Only thing I'm saying is, caveat emptor, right? Buyer beware.
Yes.
Know what you're getting into. Know what some of the potential downsides of it could be.
Absolutely.
Well, that's all we have for today. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Absolutely. Peace.